Are you a virgin who's about to get married? Are you nervous about having sex? Well, then this is the video for you. Welcome to Advice for a Virgin on her wedding night. Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that little intro. I'm so weak at myself, I'm gonna put this down now. But hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Super excited to share this video with you. My advice for the virgin on her wedding night. I feel like this is huge. I literally just went through this a year ago, and so these are gonna be my tips and tricks. Literal tips and tricks. For that virgin or that woman practicing celibacy who's going into her wedding night, who is nervous yet excited for the experience. So if you're ready for those tips, just keep watching. Out of all the videos, I think this is the one that I'm most excited for because I just can relate to it so much. Y'all, I'm telling you, it's like childbirth. It's not like childbirth. I'm not saying sex is like childbirth, but what I'm saying is the experience is like childbirth, parenting, stuff like that. No one can prepare you for that experience, especially as a virgin. Like if you've never had like that intimate of a sexual interaction with someone, it is quite the ride. Literally quite the ride. Okay, so tip number one is don't take yourself too seriously. This was my mistake. I can err on the side of like being a planner, and so in my head, like literally, so we got married, everyone's like with the sparklers, woo, you're getting into the car, you're like, holy crap. As soon as my butt hit the seat in the car, my thought was literally like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. We're literally about to have sex. We're literally about to have sex. It was like Simon's like, woo, woo. Mainly because I was just super in my head. I didn't know what to expect. Is it gonna hurt? I've heard opinions from a bunch of people. So I was very much so in my head, and so I was trying to be all serious, and I was like walking in, and I'm like, okay, Jasmine, act natural, be sexy, okay? What does that look like? I don't know. So I'm like the least sexiest person that you will ever meet. That's just not my vibe. However, it's so important to go into it not taking yourself too seriously. Don't have your expectations too high. Understand that it's just a time for you and your spouse to have an intimate moment, get to know each other in a different way that you maybe haven't before, and to worship and honor God through this act. So just don't take yourself too seriously. That's self-explanatory. Okay. Tip number two, don't go into it expecting to have sex all the way. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion, but that was just my experience, okay? So again, this is just my experience. Okay. I'm like trying to figure out how to explain this. The thing about it is, when you are a virgin, if you've never had sex before, not to be graphic, but things can be a little tight, but it's right, okay? And so if you have the experience of having a very larger man in stature, like I do, sometimes because of the discomfort, because it is, you know, a little bit more tighter down there, it's not the time to just like force the issue and just go for it. Like if you get to a place, I've told you guys this before, no shame. I literally cried and laughed in the middle of our first time having sex. One, because it was uncomfortable, but two, I was getting upset because it wasn't working. But the thing is, like, there's a whole combination of if you're too much in your head, and then on top of that, again, you know, things are a little bit tighter down there, it's a different experience, there's a lot of discomfort, that's gonna add to the inability to necessarily have a full-on sexual experience with your spouse. And so, give yourself grace. It may not happen the night of your wedding, and that is okay. It may happen more so on the honeymoon, and that's okay. And I just think it's about giving yourself grace, communicating with your your spouse saying, hey, this really hurts. Hey, I'm really uncomfortable. Hey, I'm really in my head. Maybe can we try this again tomorrow? That's okay. And I feel like there's a stigma around, like, especially on TV, people make it seem like, oh yes, sexy, yes, it's happening tonight. But no one talks about the fact that it's a virgin's first time, and then obviously, like, if your spouse is a virgin, or if your spouse has never been with you sexually before, then it's a very different experience. That there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of scenarios. So anyways, don't be too hard on yourself. Sex fully may not happen on the night of your wedding. Learn to be okay with that and just try again tomorrow. It's all good. When you first walk in, this is tip number 3. When you first walk into your hotel room or your house, or, you know, wherever you stay the night of your wedding, figure out a way to break the ice a little bit. Okay, so like Reggie and I bebopped in, like it was like a little awkward. I don't know if he was awkward, but I was like a little awkward. I'm like, okay, like, you know, it's like when you're taking pictures with, like, when you're taking pictures and you're not used to posing, people are like, what do I do with my hands? That was literally me. I was like, I don't know what to do next. So the first thing that came to my mind, I was like, okay, let's shower together. And he looked at me, he's like, what? And I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, what? But anyway, I say all that to say, break the ice. Figure out a way to break the ice. Choose to shower together. Choose to talk, sit and talk and reminisce about the day of the wedding. Crack a joke. Do something to break the ice when you walk into wherever you're staying for the night, on the night of your wedding, so that it's not one of those things where you're awkward, you don't know what to do. Because what I realize is, like, you build up to sex. It's not just like, rip off the clothes, go. It just does not work like that. You have to get aroused and have experiences with your spouse to get to that point, right? And so, yeah, I would just say break the ice. It is listen, I get it. Very, very uncomfortable, like the act of undressing in front of someone else. What a concept. People do not talk about this when it comes to, especially with virgins, people do not talk about this. It is so awkward. Like, I've gotten undressed before in front of, like, you know, girlfriends or whatever, like my closest friends only, or like my mom, okay? But in front of a male, it's like wild. It is the wildest experience ever. And so you have to figure out a way to break the ice. It's okay if you feel awkward, but just jump into it and break the ice in a way that you feel most comfortable. Oh, I love this tip because we did not do this, and it was a mistake. So that's why I'm telling you to be prepared on your wedding night. Tip number 4, make sure you have some lube on deck. I told y'all this is raw and unfiltered, but I just want to be honest. It is gonna be so important. Like I explained to you, you know, things are tight, but it's right down there. Also, you know, so it's a different experience. It can be uncomfortable. When you're not used to having sex and things like that, lube is a huge lifesaver. It makes things a little bit more gentler, a little bit more easier. You know what I'm saying? There's a little bit more comfort there with lube. I have like a lube recommendation if you want it. I didn't want to like put it in this video, but you know, if you want that, I can just email me. I can send it to you, girl. I can let you know. But having lube would have definitely been more helpful, especially for the first time around. Yeah, it just makes things a little bit more easier. So if that's your vibe, grab some lube and get to getting. I kind of touched on this point. This is point number, I don't even know which one we're on. Point number 5. I kind of touched on this point before, but it's really just to get out of your head and make sure that you're present with your spouse. Like I said, I did it the wrong way. Well, I'm not gonna say the wrong way. I was just really, really nervous, and I was definitely in my head. Like I said, I was like, oh no, ring the alarm. I'm nervous. But it's gonna be so important that you are so present with your spouse. Yes, in the act of sex, but even in the moments leading up to it, just make sure that you're present, because this is such a special moment, especially if you're a virgin and you've never had this experience before. Man, it's just gonna be so important to be present so that you can remember it, right? And remember all the ways, like I'm thinking back to when it was my first time and just how amazing and special it was to be able to remember that moment. Like, wow, I've come so far. Even now being a year in, I've come so far from my first time to now. And I feel like God has taught both of us so much in this process. And so you can only remember those things if you're present. So try your best to be present. Just, again, let go of the anxiety, let go of the fear. Don't take yourself too seriously and just be like, hey, this is happening. We're about to do the dang thing. But just please, please, please make sure you're present. And also, I would say this is like free, no extra charge, because I didn't even have this in my notes, but it just came to me. Like, I would really encourage you guys to pray before you have sex. Huge. Reggie and I did that, and I feel like it was very, very helpful to like bring down the walls, invite God in to the experience, because sex is a spiritual experience. I know a lot of our churches don't freaking teach us that, but it's true. It's a sexual experience that really, really is kind of life-changing, honestly. To me, it was life-changing. And so I feel like with such a big event like that, you have to invite God in so that his presence can be felt, and so that you can kind of like give all your worries, your anxieties, all that stuff to him, which leads me into my sixth point and final point. Just to be honest about your fears and your anxieties and express them out loud to your spouse. This was huge for me because there were lots of thoughts going on in my head, but I feel like fear and anxiety and those negative thoughts lose its power the moment we speak it out loud to a trusted friend, a trusted spouse, a trusted parent, whatever. But specifically in this situation, your spouse. Speaking it out loud allows the anxiety and fear to lose its power. And like I've always said, and I'm preaching to the choir, power is perfected in weakness. Like God's power is perfected in our weakness. When we're able to openly and lovingly share our areas of weakness, especially with our spouse, is when God's power can be activated within us to do the things that he's called us to do. Yes, even sex. Like, I know that sounds dramatic, but when you say, hey babe, I'm feeling like really, really anxious, fearful of the pain in this moment, and I just wanted to be honest with you about that. There's so much power in that, and immediately God gives you what you need in order to fulfill, you know, what you're meant to do, which is like have sex and be intimate with your spouse. And so I would encourage you, like, especially now, as things are building up and as you're like counting down the days to get married, which is so fun, and I'm so excited for you and I'm cheering you on in this. Just know that anxiety and fear are very much so normal, but to make sure that you're expressing that out loud so that it loses its power. Whew. Girl, you are equipped for this. It's gonna be so much fun. You're gonna have the time of your life. Comment down below letting me know if you found this helpful or if you wanna see any other videos surrounding celibacy, purity, wedding night, whatever that looks like for you. Comment down below and let me know. But I'm so glad I got to share my heart with you guys on this topic. I know it's a little bit uncomfortable, so thanks for staying and riding it out with me, but I know that this will definitely help some of my gals out there who are new to this whole like sexual intimacy game. It's gonna be awesome. I'm rooting for you. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with a friend. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers. Super, super excited to just continue on with this journey with you guys. So anyways, I love y'all. I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.